criminals in Europe and America are not the Muslims. It's your news media.
Well, that too.
It's your politicians who are the criminals. They are the ones who are dumbing you down. They are the ones who say militants. They're not militants. They're terrorists. And they're Muslim terrorists. There's no such a thing as a militant Muslim. In fact, there is no moderate Muslim. The Quran forbids a Muslim from being moderate. And in fact, the Quran says, if you are not a jihadi Muslim, you are not a Muslim, you are an infidel. You know, it is so simple. You said it a few minutes ago. The facts are staring us in the face. They have been staring us in the face since 9/11. And
Yes.
yet our leaders, most of them, and especially the news media in America, are misleading the American public. Literally, deliberately, maliciously misleading the American public. Do you know why? They don't know how to handle Islam. By the way, I sent a report to the government of Russia.
Yes.
Because I have the links. I told them, don't ever ban the Quran. It's a mistake. It's the biggest mistake. Don't ban the Quran. On the contrary, declare it, show it on television, on radio, in newspapers, what it really contains. The Quran and Hadith self-destruct, completely self-destruct, because they are so vile. You don't need to be a genius to figure that one out. All you need to do is to spend time and read it. They self-destruct. Banning the Quran is a mistake. Showing what the Quran contains is the best thing. And I'll tell you what, it is also good for the Muslims, who are really the first victims of Islam, of the Quran. The followers of Muhammad are the first victims of Muhammad's Quran. Why do I say Muhammad's Quran? Because nothing was revealed to Muhammad by any God called Allah. You know why? Allah is not God. Allah is most certainly not the same as the God of Jesus, Moses, and Abraham. Can I prove it? Yes. In 20 different ways, in less than 60 seconds each way. No problem. Find somebody to come against me. I wish somebody
It hasn't
could.
happened yet, and I don't think anybody is. I don't think anybody
10 years
is
later,
that
not
dumb.
a single person.
We've got IQ Al Rassolli with us today. Before we take our first break here with IQ, give me your thoughts on this HR 347 law that makes protesting a felony. It establishes something called free speech zones, which I've never understood. But this got signed into law, unbeknownst to a lot of people, by President Obama. What do you think of HR 347? It makes...
I don't accept any kind of law that tells us not to speak about something which is vile. And Obama is a criminal. I remember what he said after the movie, that he said Benghazi's problem started. He said, nobody has the right to insult the Prophet Muhammad, and they will not have any future. He said it, not the Muslims. He said it.
Wow,
He
I
sided
missed
with
that.
the enemy.
Good God.
But that's fact. But that's a fact. He said it in public. He said, no future for the people who insult the Prophet. Who the hell does he think he is?
Yes.
Well, he is. He's a Muslim.
Well, that too. Let's do this. We're up against the clock. I want to get this last segment in with you. 48 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, hold the line, IQ. We'll be right back with you, and we'll chat about Mein Kampf and a very, 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 very interesting conversation coming up. We'll be back after this here on the Big Broadcast.
Hey, this is D-Code 1. My new single album coming out January 25th, 2014. And this is a preview of my hot single. T-Ryan D-Code 1 down here in South Beach, Miami, stuck with the big girl. 106 Park, how you gonna raise her? He sitting back waiting for the video to drop. And the record on the run searching for the big girl worldwide. I'm just saying, how they gonna fade?
the big girls I see. You headed to the club for the night now, baby. What you mean?
In stores worldwide, January 25th, 2014. Make sure you get this single album.
Looking for that perfect gift for that someone special? Give Just Flowers a call at 877-264-2170. Just Flowers has been serving our loyal customers for over 16 years. Privately owned and operated, committed to providing you exceptional service. Call 877-264-2170 and let them handle the hard part. Choose from roses, gift baskets, plants. They can even take care of all of your funeral flower needs. Call 877-264-2170 today and mention Radio 1 to get a nice discount.
Welcome to the Racing to Success Minute with Nadine Lajoie. Do you know that most people doesn't even have a clear definition of success? So what I encourage you to do today is making a list of 10 different things that you want to achieve. For some people, it's about money, but money doesn't bring happiness unless that is clear in your head that both can be together. Happiness, relationship, health, family, whatever is the definition of success for you. This is the definition that you need to be clear about it. So if it's not clear in your head, if you are not putting the definition of success on paper, that is barely possible to achieve the success that you want. So this is Nadine at NadineRacing.com.
Now, the Jiggy Jaguar Show on JiggyJaguar.com.
Find us on Twitter at JIGGY, JAGUAR. Also Facebook, Facebook.com/TheJiggyJaguar. Back with IQ out of Rassolli. And, of course, IQ is Googleable. You can get more information on him. Just Google his name, IQ out of Rassolli, and you will get all the information on this incredible individual. Last week, we've been talking for the last couple weeks about the Middle East and Muslims and how it relates to Hitler and the Nazis. And I wanted to talk with IQ this week about Mein Kampf. And IQ, I'm going to let you jump in there and kind of get us started on the conversation here.
Okay. While studying Hitler's Mein Kampf, I was fascinated and struck by the similarities of thought, concepts, perverted ideas, racism, hate-mongering, and warmongering expressions that fill its pages with Muhammad's Quran. So I started comparing and contrasting the Quran and Hadith and found that the discriminatory racist rules and regulations against Christians, Jews, and unbelievers in general are almost identical to the race laws of the Nazis. Let me elaborate. People who have not read the Quran and Mein Kampf will find it extremely difficult to accept what I'm saying without proof of my statements, based on source materials. Incredibly, the facts based upon the two books show remarkable and uncanny similarities, as I shall proceed to show you with all the relevant references. Dear Americans, only miles and years separate Hitler from his mentor Muhammad. Their Führer's methods for accomplishing his madness were identical to their prophet. Both Muhammad and Hitler aspired for world domination. Both were self-centered, narcissistic megalomaniacs. Both were charismatic, pathological liars. I shall now quote from Mein Kampf by page number, and from Muhammad's Quran and Hadith by chapter and verse. Bukhari Hadith 4.220. Allah's Apostle Muhammad said, I have been made victorious with terror. Mein Kampf 676. Men must threaten and dominate men by compulsion. Compulsion is only broken by compulsion, and terror by terror. Ladies and gentlemen, the lever that coerces compulsion is terror. Hitler simply followed Muhammad's path. Bukhari 4.386. Our Prophet, the Messenger of Allah, ordered us to fight you, unbelievers and infidels, till you all worship Allah alone. Mein Kampf 677. Since the Nazis' view of life will never share power with another, It cannot cooperate with the existing doctrines it condemns. It is obliged to fight by all means available until the entire world of hostile ideas collapses. Both men envisioned an eternal battle and total submission. Al-Tabari, 9.69. He who believes in Allah and His Messenger Muhammad has protected his life and possessions from us. As for those who disbelieve, we shall fight them forever in the cause of Allah. Killing infidels is a small matter to us. Mein Kampf, 677. This coercive fight for the Nazi program and the new view of life demands determined fighters and a forceful fighting organization. The recipe for a favorable result requires the formulation of a declaration of war against all existing order and against all existing conceptions of life in general. Dear listeners, just like Islam, it was the Nazis against the world. The House of Islam, or Dar al-Islam, forever battles Dar al-Harb, the house of the war of the infidels. The Nazis usurped Muhammad's dogma. The recipe of submit and obey was perfect for empowering Hitler, their tyrant. Mein Kampf, 679. The strength of a party lies in the disciplined obedience of the members to follow their leadership. The decisive factors are leadership and discipline. When troops battle one another, the victorious one will be the one which is blindly obedient to the superior leader. Ibn Ishaq, 601. The best men launch spears as if they were swords. They devote their lives to their Prophet Muhammad. In hand-to-hand fighting and cavalry attacks, they purify themselves with the blood of the infidels. They consider that an act of piety. Ladies and gentlemen, it is hard to distinguish which doctrine is more fixated on violence. Ibn Ishaq, 587. Our onslaught will not be weak or faltering affair. We shall fight as long as we live. We shall fight until you turn to Islam, humbly seeking refuge. We shall fight not caring whom we meet. We shall fight whether we destroy ancient holdings or newly gotten gains. We shall cut off every opponent's nose and ears with our swords. We have driven them violently before us at the command of Allah and Islam. We shall fight until our religion is established, and we shall plunder them, for they must suffer disgrace. Mein Kampf, 680. In order to lead a new view of life to victory, we have to transform it into a fighting movement. Ladies and gentlemen, like Muhammad, Hitler seduced men before he coerced them. He made promises but never delivered. Mein Kampf, 698. The Nazis must not become the servant of public opinion, but its ruler. It must not be the people's slaves, but their master. Muhammad wasn't much of a listener either. Quran 47.21. Were they to obey Muhammad after the matter of preparation for jihad had been determined for them, it would have been better. I can go on and on, but I think this is enough to start with. Anybody who is interested, go to my website, look at chapter 42, and read it. There is no difference whatsoever between Quran and Mein Kampf, between the Nazis and Islam. When they speak about Islamofascism, it's not correct. It's Islamo-Nazism. Back to you, sir.
That is the thing that I don't understand is why do they why has people never taken the time to digest this and compare and contrast this?
They haven't taken time to digest the simplest part of it, the Quran. And yet the Quran is available. You can download it. You can read it free of charge. Our leaders haven't even read the Quran. They haven't. Can you believe that?
I am
Most
absolutely
of those who are
amazed by
in
this.
Congress today, both sides of the aisle, haven't even read the Quran. Ask them Ask any of them. Did you read the Quran? They haven't. That's why America is in a mess. That's why your foreign policy is in disaster. It's shredded. Nobody trusts Obama. Nobody believes in America anymore. And I mean literally nobody. It is so bad now that Japan will go nuclear because it cannot depend on Obama. It cannot depend on America. The Arabs now, most probably, will side with Israel. Can you believe that? Israel can defend them. America cannot defend them.
Absolutely amazing. IQ.
It is amazing. It is amazing. Because the Arabs are afraid of Iran. The Arabs are Sunni. Iran is Shi'i. And Iran with a nuclear weapon, forget it. Look what they're doing without the nuclear weapon. What happened in Lebanon when 256 American Marines were destroyed, murdered, slaughtered? It was Shia. You know, you can't hide from Islam. You shouldn't hide from Islam. You know, it's amazing. The Muslims who are terrorizing the world, do you know how many there are?
No.
Only 50 million out of 1,500 million.
Wow.
Only 50 million. They're terrorizing 5,500 million people and getting away with it. Why? Because we have despicable leaders. Am I generalizing? The answer is no. Whether it's in Europe or in America. But now Russia is coming up.
Yes.
And Russia is coming up in a splendid way. Putin now is more Christian than any leader in Russia since the fall
leader that
of
we've
the
got
Kaiser.
here.
I'm sorry, the ruler, what was it? Not Kaiser.
Well, I'll tell you, IQ.
The emperor at the time. Anyway, I forgot.
It is absolutely amazing that we managed to talk to you each and every week. You just have some amazing facts, amazing stats on history. What I would like to do next week with you, because I love these little segments about how we can learn about Muslims and the Quran and everything through the years, is next week I want to get into the situation with the 1980s as it relates to the Iran hostage crisis, and throughout the starting from, I guess that point would be 78, 79, all the way through the 80s. I want to talk about how the Muslim, basically Muslim terrorism, that form of terrorism, took place over that 10-year span. So if you can dig up some information, because I know you've got all of it.
I already have
if
it.
you can dig up some info.
I already have it. I have no problem. We can discuss it now.
He's already prepared. I'd like to talk about that next week, if we can.
No problem. It will be ready for you.
Okay. Well, IQ, have
God
yourself
bless
a
you. Take
blessed
care.
week, and we'll talk to you soon, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
IQ Al Rassolli with us today. We are going to take a timeout and be back with us